गुरुरेव गति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सखास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरुः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्मि गुरो मम पाहि गुरो सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. In my last upload, I completed till chapter 7 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavada Purana. We saw that Sri Vidura asked many questions to Sage Maitreya, and most of them were regarding the secondary creation, that is, the next set of creation. And first of all, Sage Maitreya heard that question and appreciated Sri Vidura. And he said that such questions don't come from an ordinary mind. What to ask these questions, that person must be knowledgeable. And so he appreciated these questions. That's why when we ask questions to others, it must not be to insult them or to just instigate them in any way. Just to attain knowledge or for the curiosity purpose, we can ask anyone questions. Only then it will be useful for us and useful for them. Many people ask questions just to disturb others, to make their weakness explicit. So such questions will not be of any use for us as well as for them. So in asking questions itself, we can understand the mentality and the knowledge and intelligence of that person who asked it. So Sage Maitreya appreciated Sri Vidura for asking these questions, and he said that I will explain to you the Bhagavata. Actually, there are two hierarchies in which the Bhagavata came to us. The first we saw in the last canto, that Bhagavan Sriman Narayana himself, he revealed this Bhagavata to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma to Sage Narada, and Sage Narada to Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa in the form of Bhagavata Purana, he gave this knowledge to his son Sri Shukha Brahmarishi, and Sri Shukha Brahmarishi to Raja Parikshit. And when he revealed this knowledge, many rishis heard it, and among them was Suta Pauranika, and now Suta Pauranika is telling this to Sanakadi rishis in the Naimisharanya forest. So this is one hierarchy of this knowledge. Another hierarchy is said in this chapter, the line of this knowledge, how it came to us. That is another hierarchy. Once the Sanat Kumara rishis, they went to the Patala Loka to see God Sangharshana. He was drawn in complete meditation. He was absorbed in meditation, always thinking about Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. And these Sanat Kumara rishis, they went there and worshipped the feet of God Sangharshana. And God Sangharshana slowly opened his eyes and asked, why did you come here? What is the reason for your arrival here? And the Sanat Kumara Rishis said, we want to know about that tattva behind the form of Bhagavan. So that tattva is superior than the form of Bhagavan. Only from that tattva this form came. So we want to know about that tattva of Bhagavan. And God Sankarshana said, I will explain to you the Bhagavata. Bhagavata means the fact about Bhagavan. The tattva behind Bhagavan is Bhagavata. So I will reveal to you this Bhagavata, and he advised or taught the Sanat Kumara Rishis, that is God Sankarshana, taught the Sanat Kumara Rishis this Bhagavata. And at one time, the Sanat Kumara Rishis gave this, that is, advised this Bhagavata to Rishi Sankhyayana. Rishi Sankhyayana was a Paramahamsa, and at one time, the Sanat Kumara Rishis taught this Bhagavata to Rishi Sankhyayana. Rishi Sankhyayana in turn taught this Bhagavata to Sage Parashara. Sage Parashara is the father of Vedavyasa, Sage Vedavyasa. And Sage Parashara taught this Bhagavata to his student Sage Maitreya. And Parashara Rishi, he taught this to Sage Maitreya by the suggestion of Pulatsya Rishi. Pulatsya Rishi was one of the Brahma Rishis and Sapta Rishi, one among the Sapta Rishis. So he suggested Sage Parashara to teach this Bhagavata to Sage Maitreya. So Parashara Rishi, he taught this Bhagavata to Sage Maitreya. And now Maitreya is teaching this Bhagavata to Sri Vidura. So this is the lineage of this Bhagavata. There is one lineage of Bhagavata. That is from God Sankarshana to Sanat Kumara Rishis, from Sanat Kumara Rishis to Paramahamsa Sankhyayana, from Sankhyayana Rishi to Sage Parashara, from Parashara Rishi to Sage Maitreya, and from Maitreya to now Sri Vidura. So this is one lineage of this Bhagavata. And Rishi Maitreya said this to Sage Sri Vidura, and he explained that Udapludam Vishwamidam Tadasid Yennidraya Amilida Drungnaya Milayat Ahindra Talpe Adishayana Yekaha Krudakshana Swatmaradhau Nirihaha. At the end of the creative cycle, this whole universe was plunged in the cosmic waters. So the Pralaya waters, everything went inside the Pralaya waters. That is all the matter. What are all we see as matter at different beautiful forms, all this went into the water of deluge at the end of the previous creative cycle. So all the matter was dissolved in the Pralaya water, and all the effects, that is the energy of this universe, where will it go? The energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be adjusted, that's all. So all this energy, it went into Bhagavan. And Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, he was lying on that cosmic water on the serpent bed, that is on Adisesha. So all the activities, everything was suspended. There is no creation, there is no world, no distant planets, no galaxies, nothing. The place which we live, nothing was there. We were also not there, no beings, nothing. All went in the cosmic waters, and Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, he is lying on the serpent bed on this cosmic water. And he was in his yogic slumber. Yen nidraya amilitadrung nayamilayatu. He has closed his eyes, not to sleep, but in yogic slumber. Yet that is, in yogic slumber he was there. In yogic slumber means he was completely drawn in his own consciousness. Amilitadrung is completely, he was drawn in his pure consciousness. No activity, nothing. He was lying like that. Sonta sharirepida bhuda sukshmaha kalatmiham shakti भक्तिमुदीरयाणः उवास तस्मिन् सलिले पदे स्वेयथानलो दारुणीरुद्धवीर्यः. So all the gross entities, they were dissolved in the cosmic water, and all the energy in the latent form as potential energies, it went into Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, and he was lying in this yogic nidra, and he has commissioned his power called Kala to wake him up at the right time. So just like how we set alarm, he has commissioned or made his power called Kala to wake him up at that right time, and he was completely drawn in that supreme consciousness and was lying in the causal waters. And all this universe in the energy form, it was there in Bhagavan. And it was there in Bhagavan means we can put an example that just like how the inside the wood, it has the potency to burn up. So when we ignite that wood, just it will burn up. Now it is just a matter. We cannot believe it, but it has the potency to burn. So when we just ignite it, it will burn. So just like that, all these powers were completely in Bhagavan in the state of energy, and he was lying on that causal water. Chaturyuganam cha sahasramapsu swaban swayodhiridhaya swashaktya कालाख्यया आसादित कर्मतन्त्रो लोहानपीदान्तदृशे स्वदेहे. And how long was he lying like this in his yogic slumber? For 1,000 Chaturyugas. One yuga itself will go on for 1,000 of years. So 4 such yugas make one Chaturyuga. Like this, there are 1,000 Chaturyugas. So it may go for a long, long time. Oh, only that we can calculate. So he was lying like that. Chaturyuganam cha sahasramabsu. For 1,000 Chaturyugas, he was lying like that. And all his operations were suspended. So after 1,000 Chaturyugas, his commissioned power called Kala stimulated him, brought a chalana in him, and he woke from that yogic slumber. That is, he became aware of the latent energies in him. Because this Kala, his commissioned power called Kala, stimulated some energy in him, he was able to see all this loka in the latent form very vividly in him. Just like some people have this habit. When they wake up in the morning, immediately before they open the eyes, they think of or they just plan for what all they have to do during the daytime. Immediately what they have to do? They have to go and do some work in the kitchen or in the home, clean up the house, take the car, go for the office. Who are all will come to meet them, what all appointments they have. So everything, so evening when they return, what they have to do. So all this very vividly, some people have this habit. And only after that only they will open the eyes. All this they will see in very few seconds. If they have practice, they can see it in 1 or 2 minutes. After that only they open their eyes. Just like that. When Bhagavan woke from that yogic slumber, he was very clearly able to see all these latent energies in him. When he became aware of this universe in a subtle form in him, immediately his Rajo Shakti, the power of Rajas, became active. And all the potencies and these latent powers and the subtle energies in him burst out through his navel and took the form of a lotus bud. Padma Kosha Udadishtan. He woke up in that, it came out in the form of a lotus bud. So in that bud, all the latent energies were there, and that when the bud came out, it illumined the cosmic waters. Illumined in the sense, we know only the brightness of the sunlight, but that brightness of intelligence is different. It will be very powerful, but at the same time, it has that subtle brightness also. So we can only imagine that through the scriptures. So anyway, it illumined the entire cosmic waters. And in that, on that lotus, he entered there, and he took the form of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the creative wisdom of Bhagavan. So it is from that Virat Purusha, or from that Sriman Narayana, this lotus came out. And on that lotus was sitting Lord Brahma. And who is that creative power, Lord Brahma? Sa Swayambhuvam. He came by himself. He came by his creative power, took manifestation by itself. No one created him other than Bhagavan. Vedamaya, he is of the complete form of Veda. That is the personification of Veda, Vidhada Bhut. He came and on that, and suddenly he saw him sitting on that lotus flower, lotus bud. He is the self-born embodiment of Vedas. That's how Srimad Bhagavada described Lord Brahma. So now he was sitting in the center of the lotus, and he saw all the direction. He could see no one like him or no one different from him. He saw nothing else. So in what all direction he turned his face, in that direction a face emerged out, a face was developed. So he saw no one around, and sitting on that lotus alone on the causal waters, he thought, who am I? For what purpose did I come? From where did this lotus sprung amidst these causal waters? So where is my base? So this curiosity he had. And immediately he saw a hole on the middle of that lotus stalk, and he went through that hole and began his search externally. For a long time he searched. He could not find anyone or any being or anyone around. So he came back and again sat on the lotus flower. Now he thought, let me concentrate inside me. So he withdrew his senses and the mind in and meditated on his own self. He meditated like this for 100 divine years. That goes to a long time when we calculate in human years. So he sat in meditation like this for 100 divine years. So at the end of that, when he concentrated more and more, he was able to see some brightness there. Something was so bright, illumined, and he saw the soul existence, the form of Bhagavan lying on the bed of Adisesha with 1,000 hoods. He was so luminous, and he dispelled that cosmic darkness. He was wearing an yellow cloth and all the ornaments which Lord Brahma explains in this shloka. Ayamato vistaratha swamana dehena lohatraya sangrahena vichitra divyabharanam shukhanam kridashriyabhashrida He was so beautifully decorated, and Bhagavata tells like he was just like an emerald mountain, and all the top of, just like how the top of the mountain when it is illumined, illumined by something light. So just like that, his crown, crown, Divya Bharanas, all this Divya Bharana or on him, and decorating his form, that added beauty to his form. And he was wearing this yellow robe, yellow color cloth, beautiful waistband, and priceless necklace studded with rare gems, and his Srivatsa mark on his chest. He was lying on Adisesha on that cosmic water. A lotus, and he saw that a lotus is coming out from his navel, and Brahma, he's sitting on, well, all that he saw in him. So when he searched, Lord Brahma searched externally, he could not see anything. But when his search was internal, when it became internal, and when he drew off all his senses and searched in him, he could find this beautiful rupa or form of Bhagavan. And Lord Brahma, he worshipped Bhagavan with a very beautiful hymn. And this Brahma's hymn comes in chapter 9, Navamodhyaya, in just Canto 3, and it is a very famous shloka or a hymn. Now we can see some of the shlokas from this hymn. Jnatosi medya suchirananudheha bhajam na jnayate bhagavata gadirityavadhyam nanyatvadasti Bhagavannapi tanha shuddha maya gunavyadikaraturu vibhasi. And he said to Bhagavan, Bhagavan, I am practicing meditation, I am doing meditation on you for such a long time. And only after that, I came to see of your rupa. So if my case itself is like that, then what will happen to the embodied beings? So they are all in latent form in you now. So even for me, it took 100 divine years to see your form. So what will happen to those embodied beings? And he said, Oh Lord, na anyat vadasti. Nothing exists besides you. Only you are that. You are that sole existence. And a being may feel that he is separate from you, but actually not. I see that all the beings, the entire world is in latent form in you. If a person thinks that he is separate from you, then it is only because of your Maya. Nothing exists independent of you. Like this Lord Brahma said, and he also said, Rupam yadedadava bhodara sodayena shashvanni vrittat tamasa sadanugrahaya adau grihitam avadhara sataiga bhijam yennabi padma bhavanadaha mavirasam. And he said, this rupam, this form of yours, it is the expression of consciousness. And you have taken this rupa for sadhas anugrahaya, only to bless your devotees. Because the devotees, when they become manifest, they will not have this power. That is the power of consciousness. They may forget their original nature, and their mind will be turned towards the gross thing. But Bhagavan, you are of that pure consciousness. Then how will they understand you? So for them to see or to meditate or to worship, you have taken this rupa, and this is the first manifestation. This is the first avatar of yours, and this form of yours is the source of all the other avatars or all the other forms. And in that, I am the first one to take this form as Lord, as Brahma, and I have sprung from your navel lotus. Like this, Lord Brahma tell to Bhagavan, who is in that yogic slumber. Natha param parama yad bhavata swarupam आनन्दमात्रम् अविकल्पम् अविद्धवर्चः पश्यामि विश्वसृजमेघम् अविश्वमात्मन् भूतेन्द्रियात्मकमदस्तमुपाश्रितोऽस्मि. Oh Bhagavan, I find nothing higher than this form of yours. Na atha param parama yad bhavata swarupam. There is nothing supreme than your form, this form of yours. And this form is the expression of consciousness. Anandamatram, only pure bliss. Of course, if it's an expression of consciousness, then it has to be pure bliss. Avikalpam, there is nothing else can change you. It is a changeless. Aviddavarchaha, unobstructed brilliance. And you are Ekam, you are that one and only existence, nothing exists other than you. Vishwasrajam, you are the creator of this universe. Bhudendriyatmaham, you are the Atma of all the elements and all the beings. You are the pure spirit, the consciousness in whom the world makes no change. So you are that Rupa of that pure consciousness. Tasmai namo bhagavade anuvidema tubhyam. So I worship you again and again. I worship you again and again, Lord Brahma is telling. And he says that you never leave the bhaktas. You always support the bhaktas. And if a person takes shelter in your feet, then he may not suffer by the ahangara. Because only when we have ahangara, so many difficulties come to us. Because we will resist everything, we will become so rigid, and everything will just bang on us and go back, bang on us again and go back. So when we become flexible, or when our mind is absorbed in pure consciousness or in the form of Bhagavan, then all that samsara will not affect us. And if a person considers himself as a separate from you, then he will be roasted by his samsara. That is all by all his karmas. It doesn't mean that when we worship Bhagavan, the karmas will not come to us, so we can escape from our bad karmas. No, it's more than that. What the shlokas and the shastras say is, whatever we do, we have to experience the result of it. But when we worship Bhagavan, or when we divert our mind towards Bhagavan, then all those difficulties will not affect us. That's all. So it is just like going under the hot sun with a very good umbrella, or in a very good sophisticated AC car. So it's just like that. And he also says that even if the rishis, they forget you, they will suffer because of your maya. Tvam bhava yoga paribhavida hrit saroja aste Shrudekshitavadho nanunatha bumsam yadyadiyata urukaya vibhavayanti tattattvabhu pranayase sadanugrahaya. So a person, a bhakta, paribhavita, purified by your bhava yoga. Bhava yoga is the bhakti yoga. Because only there is bhava. All the other yogas like karma yoga, we have to do only the karma. There is no emotion there. With the evenness of mind, we have to take the success and failure. And Raja Yoga, just controlling the prana, and we have to practice all the Ashtanga steps and practice that yoga. Jnana Yoga, very dry. But only Bhakti Yoga, it has emotion. And it fits only the people who are so emotional. So to direct their emotion towards the form of Bhagavan, that is Bhakti Yoga. Because when a person is emotional by birth, no one can control him all of a sudden. So only Bhakti Yoga is suitable for them. And Lord Brahma says, in whatever form they meditate on you, that is yat dhya vibhavayanti. They means the mind. In whatever form they perceive you in their mind, tattat vabu pranayase sadanugrahaya. In that form you appear in their mind for them to bless them. That's why this truth is eternal. And the form which we assume for that truth may differ from person to person. The Vaishnava Bhaktas, they imagine or they think of the form of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana or Krishna or Mahavishnu and meditate on that form. So he appears in that form in their mind. The Shaivites or the Shaiva Bhaktas, Shiva Bhaktas, they think of Bhagavan in another form. So he will come and bless them in that form. The Shakti Bhaktas, that is the Devi Bhaktas, they imagine another form for this ultimate truth. This ultimate truth will take that form and bless them. So the forms may differ, but the Tattva, that is the Bhagavata behind it, is the same. and it is the one and only existence. So, in whatever form we meditate on Bhagavan, in that form he will appear and bless us. Sat Anugrahaya, you take that form to bless them. You are the indweller in all beings, the friend of all. You never prefer any complicated ritualistic worship. You prefer the worship with pure heart. That's why all these rituals and all these pujas, it may help in the beginning stage, but when a person goes to the para bhakti stage, nothing is needed. All these are used to make that mind to come to that stage of para bhakti. And there are many bhaktas who always meditate on the Bhagavan, and they do not need all this puja or going to temple, nothing. They all just meditate on the form of Bhagavan, and that experience, they experience his pure love. And so that is the core reason, because all these rituals will help us to take our bhakti to the next higher level. When we reach that higher level, we do not need all these ritualists, all this complicated ritualistic worship. So this is the words of Lord Brahma. Shashvat Swarupamah Saiva Nipeda Bheta Mohaya Bodhadishayaya Nama Parasmai Vishwodbhavasthitilayeshu Nimitta Leela Rasaya Te Nama Idam Chakrumeshwaraya. Shashvat, always you are attached in your own consciousness, in the pure consciousness, and Lord Brahma says, Nibhida Bheta Mohaya, you are always infatuated with your own Chaitanya, with your own self, which is the undivided awareness, and you are the source of that jnana. To you, I Parasmai Namaha, I salute again, and your leelas are the Udpatti, Sthiti, and Laya. That is creation, sustenance, and dissolution. All these are your leelas. And when a person think about your leelas, he will be removed from all his sins and he will attain your supreme pada. Many bhaktas are that, and this is Parama Bhakti. So what we worship, for many people, it's very common to see that people worship Bhagavan to satisfy their desires. They do not have power to do something, their own karma, so they depend on Bhagavan for their support. All these are good. It's not bad, but these are all initial stages of bhakti. Some Parama Bhaktas, they think about the Leelas of Bhagavan and they merge with Bhagavan in that way itself. So they think about the Leelas of Bhagavan, the form of Bhagavan, and they communicate with Bhagavan, they talk to Bhagavan. Bhagavan also speaks to them in their mind. All this others cannot see. So when they talk to Bhagavan or when they laugh by seeing his pranks, what outside people think is that this person is insane. But all the time he is a Parama Bhakta, he never separates from Bhagavan. He always think about the Leelas, and for this purpose only, the Krishna Avatara is very famous because it has so many Leelas, and anyone can think about any of his Leelas. It gives only pleasure to the mind and it removes the sin, and by that way itself we can reach the ultimate. And one of the example of such a Parama Bhakta in the South India, in the region of Kerala, is Pundanam Nambudri. He was a great Bhakta of Bhagavan, and actually when he lost his son, he assumed Bhagavan, Krishna, as his own son, and he always played with him, talked to him. Bhagavan also talked to him, and wherever he go to tell this Bhagavada Purana, Bhagavan will be present near him. So his bhakti is beyond our thought and imagination. Many people thought that he is insane because he always talked to Bhagavan. He assumed that Bhagavan is near him. So all these are the supreme bhakti. He sees nothing else in this world other than Bhagavan. So one of the example other than the Gopikas is Pundanam Tirumeni, and there are many bhaktas like this, which we may or may not know. So, and Lord Brahma says, Yo va aham cha girishascha vibhusvayam cha stid udbhava pralaya hetava atma moolam bitva tripadadvavrutayeka uru praroha tasmai namo bhagavade bhuvanadrumaya. You manifest yourself in three different forms. One as me, myself as Brahma, and I look after the creation. Another as Vishnu, to look after the preservation or sustenance of this world. And another as Girishaka, that is Shiva, for the dissolution of this. And you manifest yourself as three, and to look after three job of this manifestation. So Lord Brahma is now telling that I am established in the Satyaloka, and even I am deluded by your Maya. That's why I always engage in meditation. So just now see, I was meditating on you for this 100 divine years. Only then I can see you. So what will happen to the other people, the embodied beings? So they must not be affected by your Maya, and I salute to you, Bhagavan. Lord Brahma says, Tiryang manusya vibudhadishu jiva yonishu atmechayatma hridasetu paripsyayah रेमे निरस्तरदिरप्यवरुद्धदेहे तस्मै नमो भगवते पुरुषोत्तमाय. Salutations to you, Purushottama. You do not have any desires, but you manifest and take incarnations in various species like Tiryang, that is the animals, Manushya among men as Lord Rama or Lord Krishna, and also in the Devas. So you take different manifestation. Why do you take different incarnations? You take different incarnations. So why do you take all these incarnations? You do not have any desires, only to preserve this creation, to preserve Dharma. Only when Dharma sustains, this creation will exist. By adharma, it will be destroyed. So only for that purpose, you take incarnation among different species like animals, men and devas. You are that unaffected. You are unaffected by avidya, ignorance. You are always connected with your pure consciousness, and you are lying on the Adisesha, the serpent bed on the causal waters. And now Lord Brahma requested that I am your creative power and I am your creative wisdom. I have sprung out from your navel lotus. So when I engage in the work of creation, I must not be infatuated by this creation, by this universe. I must not be attached towards this loka because I created. And I must not forget the Vedas also, because the Vedas are just like the blueprint of this creation. So we all do that mistake. When we do something, we take responsibility for it. We attach with it that I created it, and we want to take credit for it, and we want everyone to appreciate us for doing that. So these are all the results of Maya, which all of us do. It is common among people. Whatever we do, we have to own it up. So Lord Brahma said, I must not be attached with my work, and I must not forget the Vedas. And Lord Brahma again requested, So sabada braharuno bhagavan vivruddha prema smitena nayanamburuham vijrumbhan utthaya vishwa vijayaya jano vishadam madhyagirabhanayadat purusha puranaha. Oh, Purusha Puranaha, you are that ancient being that you have with your infinite mercy and love. Now, please open your eyes. That is, get up from this yogic slumber. Uttaya, rise from your serpent bed for Vishwa Vijayaya, for the creation of this world, and dispel this ignorance. And dispel the ignorance of mind. This Lord Brahma requested to Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. Bhava, he opened his eyes and said, "O Veda Garbha," he addressed Lord Brahma as Veda Garbha, that is, who is born, embodiment of the Vedas. He said that practice tabas again. When you do tabas again, concentrate on your mind, on yourself, then you will see all this form, this creation in the latent form inside you also. So you do tapas. And Bhagavan said, Tata Atmani Lohescha Bhakti Yukta Samahitaha Drashta Simam Tatam Brahman Mahilo Hastvamatmanaha. When you concentrate your mind and filled with devotion, then you will see me penetrating through this entire universe and in yourself also. You will understand that I am all pervading. I am in every being. He gave this advice to Lord Brahma. Brahma, you also do tapas. So you will see this entire universe in you also, because no one is different from Bhagavan. So when you see it, you will understand that I penetrate this entire universe and I am existing in you also. When a sadhaka meditate like this, then he will be relieved from this dualities of samsara, or he will overcome delusion. Bhagavan again says, Yada rahitam atmanam bhudendriya gunashayaihi swarupena mayopedam pashyan swarajya mrichati. So when the Atma, that is when this mind, Rahita, detaches from Bhuda Indriya Guna, that is when our mind detaches from the material world, the senses and the guna, then you can realize me, then we can realize Bhagavan in that person. Bhagavan is telling, then you can realize me in that person and attain me. So Bhagavan again gives assurance to Lord Brahma that Rishi Madhyam Badhnani Papiyat Swam Rajogunaha Yanmano Mai Nirbandham Praja Samsrujatopite. So Brahma, so when you involve in the creative activity, Rajoguna will be dominating in you. Only, yes, when we do any action, for us to do any action, then the Rajoguna must be active. We cannot do it in tamas or in sattva also, we cannot do it. Cannot do all the action. So Bhagavan tell to Lord Brahma, when you involved in the work of creation, Rajoguna will be dominating in you. The nature of Rajoguna is a passion, attachment. But since your mind is dedicated to me, when you engage in this creation, you will not be affected by it. You will not be infatuated by it. And Bhagavan addresses Brahma as Rishim Madhyam. You are the first among all the rishis. And a person who is completely, his mind is diverted to the worldly matters, for an embodied being, it is very difficult to attain me. Bhagavan itself says, because his mind will be gross and I am pure consciousness. So how can this both state combine together? Even this is just like water and oil. So either the water has to change the nature or the oil has to change its nature. Bhagavan is pure consciousness. He cannot change his nature. Only we have to make ourselves more and more subtle. We have to concentrate on that pure consciousness, become more and more subtle, and join with, merge in Bhagavan. तोभ्यं मद्विचिकित्स्यायात्मा मेदर्शिदो बहिः नालेन सलिले मूलं पुष्करस्य विचिन्वतः. So far you are searching in the beginning, you are searching for me outside. It was an external search, so you could not find me. Now when the search became internal, you are able to see me, and I am so pleased with your meditation, your tapas. Brahma Bhagavan said, and he says, Pritohamastu badram te lokanam vijayechaya yadastaushin gunamayam nirgunam manuvarnayan. I am pleased with your hymn also, because Pritohamastu badram te. So you are, I am pleased with your hymn. Let you prosper. Bhagavan is blessing Lord Brahma. Lohanam vijayechaya, for the good of the world, I bless you. Why did I like your hymn? Because it was Gunamayam Nirgunam Mam Anuvarnayan. You have described my Nirguna and Guna nature. You have described my attribute and attributeless nature. So only a knowledgeable person can do both this for the form of Bhagavan. So you have done that. So I like your hymn. And Bhagavan himself says, whoever worship me with this hymn every day will attain me, and all his desires will be satisfied in this materialistic world. And Bhagavan again says, Aham atmatmanam dhadaha preshtas san preyasamapi ato mahirathim kuryat dehadir yat krute priyaha. Dada Brahma, Aham Atmatmanam. I am the Atma, the soul of all beings. Preshtasan Prayasamabi. Because I am the Atma of all the beings, I am the dearest among the dear. So, and I think in Brihadaranya Upanishad it says, among all the things in the world, our self is dear to us. It is not out of selfishness. Selfishness is attaching with our ahankara, ego. But this is loving ourselves, means that is our core nature. And only the self exists here. It is pervading everywhere. So whatever we do for ourselves. Even when we love others or when we do dana, we are doing it for the self. This self is the only existence, and it is Bhagavan. So, for everyone, that self is dear because it's Bhagavan. I am the dearest among the dear. And so Bhagavan says, instead of wasting the time in everything else, because ultimately we love ourselves. Even when a mother and a child is sleeping, the mother is detached from the child while she sleeps. But she is not detached from her own self. Always she is attached to the self. She is in the self. Maybe she may not realize it. So the self is dear to all of us. So why waste time in everything else in the outside world? Concentrate on me. Bhagavan says, Sarva Vedamayena idam Atmanatmatma yonina prajasruja yatha purvam yascha mayyanusherate. So this entire world and all the beings are merged in me. They are layered, dissolved in me. So Brahma, you are the embodiment of the Vedas. You are born of me. You are my creative power. So without any support from anyone, without any external, because nothing else exists there. So you can, when you meditate, you can see the entire creation in the latent form in you also, Brahma. So you do concentration, you meditate, and now you create all beings like what you have created in the previous cycle that are latent. Just like that, you will get that knowledge when you meditate. So proceed with your creation. Like this, Bhagavan said to Lord Brahma, who sang a very beautiful hymn praising Bhagavan. Actually, he is telling the facts about Bhagavan, his attributes and attributeless nature. And singing this hymn, Lord Brahma sat down, very silent. He was just silent and sat down. And Bhagavan slowly he opened his eyes and addressed Brahma as Vedamaya Swarupa and gave this advice to Lord Brahma. And here, giving this advice, he disappeared from the vision of Lord Brahma. So, Sage Maitreya is telling this Bhagavan is Purusha, he is that pure consciousness as well as the Pradhana, the material nature also. So, explaining this creation to Lord Brahma, he disappeared from his vision. So, next, what Lord Brahma did, I will explain to you in my next upload. With this ends chapter 9 of Canto 3 of Bhagavada Purana. Om Shri Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.